All right, we're going to get right into it. Let me acknowledge Wolfman, got Nards, Protagonist, Beyond the Mask, and a few others. But there's a lot of help I got in crafting my ideas. With that out of the way, let us proceed. So let's get right to the hand. So Barry thinks there's a dead body near the hand. I agree there's a body. The lighting was really bad, so we couldn't tell before. But now, yes, there's definitely a body. There's some kind of hand, and the other hand is reaching out to get the mask. He thinks it's Michael because the fingers, but there's a problem. That hand is too clean. That hand looks way too clean. Now, I've posited it could be a female hand, and I don't think that's a good idea, right? If Laurie becomes Michael Myers at the end or whatever, but it could be a female hand, but that hand is too clean. So even if it's a male hand, that hand is too clean. So something is off. It doesn't make sense. Or Michael got cleaned up. Either way, it's a lot of questions and problems. And Barry made a big leap that we see a chest stab of one of the Michael, either Michael or the copycat. I think he went a little too far because we didn't know for sure, but unfortunately, he loaded the video and the second TV spot came on and it had much brighter colors. So he was right. Yes, Michael or the copycat gets stabbed, but I think that's going to present a lot of problems because it's like, what? How did that happen? And we'll get to that. So there's definitely a chest stabbing of one of the Michaels and the copycats. So we have that at least. And then if we move further, this is a big question that the protagonist was joking about. If Michael has been in the sewers, shouldn't he be smelling a whole lot? No. If it is Michael, I don't know how or why, but he got cleaned up and he doesn't smell like that. Because, yeah, he's right. If Michael has been in the sewers that long, he should smell like an insane amount. But when he's attacking the ginger, if you notice her body movements, she doesn't smell anything. She doesn't care. It's not the smell, it's because Michael apparently made too much noise. That's why she turns her head. So the best I can figure out to be generous to them is maybe he's in some kind of underground structure that is near the sewers because he does grab Corey. So if that's not Michael, it's a hobo, but it's probably Michael. So Michael does spend some time in the sewers, but he goes back to that underground structure near the sewer and presumably does get food. He does get into the open air. He does clean himself a little bit. He doesn't spend the entire time in the sewers. Again, being generous to them, maybe that's the way it's happening. And there's also a kind of extra little tidbit, which I think is small but critical, when we see these townspeople with, I guess, cameras and or flashlights. Now, I thought that was the media that may have been stirred up by Corey and or Michael. No, those look like the townspeople. Now, Wolfman is guessing that's Lindsey at the end, at the far right. Maybe, maybe not. I still am not sure. He speculates it's Lindsey. But I think much more important is that guy to the side who's in front of us. He looks kind of sad. This is either them gathering after one of the killings, or I think more likely the junkyard. That they're looking at Michael's dead body or decimated body after the junkyard scene are kind of confused because they look like a mixture of emotions. If it was one of the killings, they should be frightened or shocked, but here they're just like, they're puzzled and sad. So I'm assuming that's the junkyard. They're looking at the handiwork and are like, I don't know, should we be proud? Should we be sad? What should we feel? Shame? It's unclear. But let's get to the big daddy stuff, which of course is the kitchen scene and the fighting with Laurie and Michael, or one of the Michaels. So Barry was right. There is a chest stabbing. That's going to produce a whole lot of problems because, and we do see this, this is continuous. This is not trick editing. Somehow Laurie does a super push. So one of the Michaels gets on top of her, but she pushes the Michael back and starts attacking. Now, to be fair, it could be the chest stabbing occurs a little bit after the super push. She did push Michael off, but Michael comes back, but then somehow he gets right back on, I guess, the table, and she does perform a stab. Now, is this the critical stab where they stab him in the face and he gets knocked out, and that's how they kill him? I don't know, but this isn't making a whole lot of sense because we also see one of the Michaels has enough super strength that they could throw her entire body with a single hand. Either the copycat has identical super strength to Michael Myers and almost identical height, which is insane. So basically, we have essentially a Michael clone. Maybe he has a different face, but essentially, Michael does have a twin brother who has almost co equal strength. That's ridiculous, but putting aside that contrivance, okay, Laurie has enough strength for either the copycat and Michael or both. She's strong enough to push one of the Michael Myers, whether it's the copycat or Michael Myers, because this copycat has to be super strong. So, how did she get this Wonder Woman strength? How did she do that? Is that just a lucky push? It's really problematic and confusing. I've also picked up on a few more things, but I won't share them here. I think I've already overloaded the video because this is a lot to pick through. So, and it is a lot. So now we have somebody picks up the Michael Myers mask. There is some kind of body nearby, dead body. It's unclear. It does appear the Michaels are going to face off because somebody stabbed Michael, real Michael, with a knife and stuck him. So that's insane. And there does seem to be confusions about, well, what happened to Michael? We can assume that Corey does heal Michael, maybe cleans him up a little bit, but if he cleaned him up and healed him to this degree, it kind of negates the entire trilogy because it's like, well, what was the point? Yes, you made him vulnerable, but all he needs is a few years in Corey, and he's back where he started. And there's apparently two Michaels, and they seem to have equal amounts of insane amount of strength and durability and height. So how did that happen? How did nobody notice this? Michael's really tall. You're gonna notice a really tall guy. A person that tall, they're gonna stick out. It's just creating a whole mess of problems. I would say one saving grace if that is Lindsey at the end. Okay, they gave us a couple Lindsey cameos. It looks good. Totality. I mean, some of the TV spots are too dark, so we can't see things, but some of them are bright enough. It looks good. The music looks powerful, but it's a lot of confusions and a lot of problems. But there we are. A little bit more on the mask, a little bit more on, I guess, Smelly Michael, for lack of a better word, and on the two Michaels and their insane amount of super strength, and how Laurie apparently is Supergirl or Superwoman or Wonder Woman all rolled up into one.